What if it isn't just this person? What if it isn't just this woman that responded to her father's abusive behavior to her mother? What if whenever people are badly treated, they resist? What if I just assumed from the outset that whenever people are badly treated, they resist? If I make that assumption, what kind of interview would I do? And then I began to realize that it was through asking about responses that the shift to a focus on resistance is important in its own right, but in fact it's part of a much bigger and ultimately, I think, much more profound and important shift into a language of responses.
I think that anybody who walks into a service to say that they have been abused is already a survivor. And I think Alan talks about thrivers, that we have to see the whole person and to know that many parts of them have not been damaged, and not to ascribe the trauma or the abuse to every part of them, because there's a lot of books written about murder of the soul and destruction of the spirit, and that's nihilistic. It leaves people with nothing. And we know that that's not true of the human spirit. You know, people have survived much worse without psychiatrists and professionals and police and social workers and therapists, you know, and done very well, thank you very much.
Not that you want to label violence, but the degree of violence or the degree of pressure that was put on them, you start to see the incredible amount of courage that this person actually applied to the situation. The courage, the determination, what you call prudence, to me the creativity. And you start to see just how much they placed on this, what they did. And that starts to shift the things about responsibility and shame. When that starts to shift, to me, hope comes in the window. People start to stand with hope. And a hope for a life with respect. A hope for a life of things that have value for them. And those are sacred hopes to me.
You know, people aren't happy as a result of post-traumatic growth. They may be, you know, the old term, sadder but wiser. So I hope that people don't think that I'm saying that trauma can produce some kind of happiness. We're talking about some sort of understanding about living, how to live more profoundly, perhaps. Many more people report growth experiences than what we would see as disorder.
I think when we're doing the best work that we do, it just seems so natural that oftentimes people don't even notice that you're doing it, and they don't think of it as the therapist is doing it. And I think it's important for me. It's important to always remind people I ain't doing nothing. You know, if a change happened, and usually the change that happens doesn't even happen here. It's something that they did while they were at home, and they come back and tell you about it. You know, and so I think when it's at its best, people kind of just barely notice.